The smell hit him first. Not gasoline, something else, like old, damp paper and spoiled meat, all hiding under a thick blanket of chemical lemon cleaner. The fluorescent lights over the pumps buzzed with a sickly energy, painting the cracked asphalt in a jaundiced yellow-green. And the man behind the bulletproof glass, he just smiled. His teeth looked too small for his mouth, like tiny polished stones. That's the image that seared itself into Leo's mind, the one that started it all. Welcome back, Fear fans, to Scary Toast, where we serve up tales that stick with you long after the silence returns. Tonight, we're taking a ride down a very lonely highway to a place that doesn't exist on any map. Leo was running on fumes, both literally and figuratively. He was somewhere deep in the gut of Nevada, a black, featureless void on either side of Interstate 80. His GPS had died an hour ago, and the last sign he'd seen promised civilization in another 70 miles. His gas light had been on for the last 20 of those. When the flickering, greasy sign for Nomad Fuel appeared like a phantom on the horizon, he felt a wave of relief so profound it almost made him dizzy. It was a single, ancient station, a relic from another time. The relief, however, was short-lived. Pulling in, he noticed the silence was wrong. There was no hum of coolers, no distant traffic, just the wind and the angry buzz of that sign. He got out, the dry desert air shockingly cold. The handle of the pump was grimy, coated in something sticky. He began to fill his tank, his eyes scanning the storefront. Through the grimy window, he saw the attendant, a scarecrow thin old man in a faded uniform, watching him with unnerving stillness. Leo finished up and pushed open the glass door. A small, tinny bell chimed, a sound that seemed far too cheerful for this place. Inside, the air was thick and stale. The shelves were stocked, but with brands he'd never seen before, their labels faded and peeling. A thick layer of dust coated everything, as if the store had been sealed for decades and only just reopened for him. The old man's smile widened as Leo approached the counter. "Long way from Ohio, aren't we?" the man whispered, his voice like rustling leaves. Leo froze, his hand halfway to his wallet, his license plate. The man must have seen his plates. That had to be it. "Yeah, just passing through," Leo stammered, placing a 20 on the counter. The man ignored the money. His gaze was fixed on Leo, his eyes a pale, watery blue. "That old sedan's seen better days, hasn't she?" he continued, his smile never wavering. "Lots of miles." Just like us, Leo felt a cold dread begin to coil in his stomach. This was more than just folksy weirdness. "Just the gas, please," Leo said, his voice tighter than he intended. The attendant finally looked down at the 20, his long, bony fingers tracing the edges of the bill. Of course, he rasped. "Just thought you might want a little something for the road ahead." "A road snack?" He gestured with his thumb to a murky jar on the counter behind him. Inside, pale, unidentifiable shapes floated in a cloudy brine. It was then that Leo saw it. Tacked to a corkboard behind the man was a collage of old, faded driver's licenses, dozens of them. They were yellowed and curled at the edges, arranged like hunting trophies. He saw faces from California, Arizona, Oregon, and then a blue and red one, an Ohio license. The photo was too faded to make out, but the familiar shape of his home state sent a bolt of pure ice through his veins. "Huh? You know," the attendant said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial hush, "the road gets awful lonely out here. It's nice to have company, even if it's just for a little while." Leo snatched his change from the counter. I'm good, thanks." He backed away, never taking his eyes off the man. He could feel the attendant's gaze burning into his back as he fumbled with the door. The tinny bell chimed again as he burst back out into the cold night. He scrambled into his car, jamming the key into the ignition. His hands were shaking so badly it took him 3 tries. The engine roared to life, and he peeled out of the station, tires squealing on the pavement. He didn't dare look back until he was a mile down the highway. He glanced in his rearview mirror. Nothing, just the endless black ribbon of road. He blinked, checking again. The warm, sickly glow of the Nomad fuel station was gone. It hadn't receded into the distance. It had simply vanished, as if the desert had swallowed it whole. Leo's heart hammered against his ribs. It was a hallucination, exhaustion. That's all it was. He was overtired, seeing things. He drove for another 10 minutes, the rational part of his brain fighting a losing battle against the terror. He gripped the steering wheel, focusing on the white lines hypnotically appearing and disappearing under his headlights. He was safe. It was over. And then he heard it, from the back seat. A soft, tinny chime, the cheerful, terrible sound of the little bell from the station door. A voice, no louder than a whisper, rustled from the darkness behind his head. Forgot your road snack. Some roads you should never turn down. Some stops are best left passed by. If this tale made you check your rearview mirror, smash that like button and subscribe to Scary Toast for more journeys into the dark. Tell us in the comments, what's the creepiest thing you've ever seen on a late night drive?